Hi, welcome back everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. We've got another comparison video and we're going to keep it in the Titleist theme here with the new launch of the T-Series irons, and I'm going to compare the new T200 iron against the 718 AP3 iron. So I think two very popular irons, or we certainly saw AP3 being very popular, sort of giving more of that AP2 sort of look, but with that forgiveness that we saw maybe in AP1 and that little bit of distance. And that's very much where T200 is sitting. So a really good comparison between these two and see if T200 is giving us a little bit more than AP3. So just before we jump into the video, if you've been watching and you're enjoying the content and you haven't hit that subscribe button, I'd love you to do so. I'm trying to grow the channel as much as I possibly can, so with your help, if you can hit that subscribe button, very much appreciate. It just allows me to get more new product sooner to then get the content out for you guys. So hit that subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications of any future videos so you will not miss a thing. Okay guys, so we're going to start off with the AP3 iron first. So again, very popular iron. I think as they introduced that to slot in between AP2 and AP1, gives a very much of that sort of nicer look, thinner top edge, but still got that real good forgiveness, loads of tungsten in here, and also that distance. So this is lofted in at 31 degrees of loft for the AP3. So let's hit some shots with this first, get some numbers, and then we can compare with T200. Okay, just push that one out a little bit. Solid strike, quite a loud clicky sort of sound to that. Just catching that right edge of the green there. So some of you are probably seeing is Mike's actually wearing a glove today, so and some shorts. So these are out of bound posts put in the studio, by the way. I've actually got my legs out today. It's actually going to be touching 30 degrees in Lytham today, which is quite a rarity for us in the UK. So hence getting a slightly sweaty hands, I need my glove on. So don't, as you probably appreciate, I don't always wear a glove. Okay, again, just a little bit of that right hand side actually, a bit of a different shot for me. So it feels really good there, very easy to sort of launch, even though that's 31 degrees, which is in that stronger lofted bracket. Very easy to launch, loads of tungsten in this split, so really sort of forgiving iron, but really nice sort of look as you put it down by that golf ball. That's a better one. A bit more straighter. Good strike again. Yeah, that's a bit more accurate there, which is good. So big thing I'm sort of maybe wanting to look at between this comparison is we're seeing some new technology with the T200 with regards to that polymer sort of core that they've added into it, which is sort of being designed with the R&D department for the golf ball at Titleist. So maybe some similar materials that we see in the golf ball are actually in the back of the new T200 head. So working very much around acoustics and sort of sound. And to be honest, in my review video, I did definitely see that. I put a little link and you can go and check that a little bit more in depth in the technology of the head, but definitely felt that lovely sort of sound off the club face of the T200. So that would be one thing I'd be very interested to sort of see the difference with against this AP3. It's a good strike, because that is a little bit loud. Yeah. Little bit on that sort of louder sound. I mean, it's not loud, too loud by any means, but it is, you know, it's a little bit, definitely a little bit louder basically. No other way to explain that. Good, really nice shot. Very high towering flight. Again, we're going to look at some spin numbers here because we know maybe AP3, that stronger lofted area. It depends what it does with that spin numbers it comes and trying to get that control, but height wise, it's definitely going to come in with quite a sharp descent angle there. Okay, right, let's switch into same shaft. I'm going to keep it 2 degrees upright, which is my spec. I'm going to switch into the T200 and we'll see how that stacks up. Right, so T200. So we're seeing quite a similar sort of look in the back, but obviously the difference is with that max impact sort of disc that goes in the back is what Titleist are calling it, which has got that polymer, silicone polymer core there. So changing that sort of sound. So again, looks, putting down by the golf ball, again, it's a good looking golf club, a little bit longer than that blade length, but very much you see that sort of T100 sort of appearance there. but with that little bit of offset, slightly longer on that blade length. So you are definitely getting the looks here, but obviously backing up with a little bit of that power forgiveness as well. So this is 7 again, but this is 30 degrees of loft. So it's actually 1 degree stronger than the AP3. So I'll have to just weigh that into the equation. Yeah, and that sound is very different. That's the biggest thing I saw in the review video. And especially now I've just hit the AP3 and straight into that T200, the sound is very different. And this is, I think, what Titleist have always been sort of saying with this polymer core insert, very much worked on the acoustics of this. So giving that very much of that sort of better players sound in golf club. You know, that forged sound tends to be a little bit more that muted sort of sound. And they sort of blended that into still maybe more of a powerful golf club. Oh, that's just a little bit low in the club face there. Just leaked that a tiny bit, but a little bit low in the face. It's done all right, that, to be fair, with that strike. Wasn't the purest of strikes. Again, that's going to be a good thing with this T200, is you're going to get that backup of that forgiveness in those particular strikes. That's better. That's a great shot. Beautiful strike. Love this little shape on that. That's going to be quite close, I think. Yeah, very straight. Good. Much better shot. Great strike. Be interested to look at the spin number comparisons possibly here between these two irons. Very interesting. There was 1 degree difference of loft, isn't there? So do need to take that into account. So maybe expect a little bit more ball speed with T200 because of the 1 degree. Lovely. Just turned a fraction. Yeah, so a little bit pulley. Always just goes that little bit further, as we know. Just missing that green on that left side. Okay, let's get one more shot hit and then we'll go and look at some numbers, a little bit more detail. That's lovely. Great one to finish on. Yeah, so biggest thing there is the acoustics, definitely the acoustics. So we're interested to look at ball speed here because yes, we've got 1 degree less loft, so we've got to take into account that will create a little bit more ball speed, or it should do. But also Titleist saying they've got the thinnest face they've ever produced with the T200. So let's go look at some numbers in a little bit more detail and see how those two irons stack up against each other. Okay, so looking at the numbers, got AP3 on the top, T200 on the bottom. So ball speed 121.6 with the AP3, 123.4. So good 2 mile an hour more ball speed there with the T200. Now, as we just said, 1 degree of loft will change that a little bit, and maybe a little bit of the thinner face is adding to that as well. Launching quite a bit lower there at 16 degrees against the 19 of the AP3. Now, bearing in mind, I did have a couple little pulley ones. I think more pulley with the T200, and then a couple little pushy ones, so they're going to change obviously that launch a little bit. See 19 and 20 there, a little bit high for me because I pushed those first two, and then I got a couple little pulley ones, so that's probably just giving us a bigger difference than maybe what I would expect. So probably expect those numbers to be a little bit more close, that probably to be more around that 17.5, 18, and that probably more to around that 17. Spin number wise, very, very similar there. Not a lot in it at all. Again, we've got a degree of difference to work into that equation, but very similar to what I saw in my review video with T200, and sits very much where AP3 was as well. So peak height, a bit high with AP3 there. Again, ball flight wise, the pushy ones will always pop up a little bit higher. So again, that number would be a bit closer if all the shots were the same. But you know, guys, I'm not human. We've all got bad shots to work into that equation as well. So 173 against 177 is a carry distance. So again, a little bit of those left bias shots will help that, but also that little bit more ball speed will also help to that, get those few extra yards. But I think really, realistically, if you were to take those pulley ones out, take those pushy ones out with the AP3, I think these numbers are going to be sitting very close to each other. Right, okay guys, so there we go. There's T200 put up against AP2. So very nice sort of new iron from Titleist. I think the biggest difference where the numbers are obviously a little bit different there, but just got way in my sort of shot shape in those particular testing. But I think the numbers are very, very close. I think if all the shots were very similar. The biggest difference I think is the sound of it. I think they've done some really good work with the acoustics, and again this technology with the polymer insert. I think it's definitely making a difference of that acoustics, and it's much better sounding golf club. It's not as clicky, a little bit more of that player's iron sound feel. We've got a forged face on the T200, so I think that combines just giving that little bit nicer feel to the club and that nicer sound to it. Not quite as explosive as maybe what I saw with AP3. So for me, that's probably the biggest difference between the two. If you've currently got AP3, would you upgrade to T200? I think you'd have to see a little bit more of a difference in the performance, and I don't think you'll probably see that. Sound-wise, look-wise, possibly that could be ticking a box. That might warrant you to sort of change, but I think you've at the same time, you've got a good set of irons in AP3, so possibly not a reason to change. If you've got something older, or you're possibly AP1 at the moment, you might be looking to sort of upgrade, and your ball striking's got a little bit better, than T200 is a great option to work into. Okay, post comments down below, let me know your thoughts as always with the new Titleist T lineup. Also done the 690 MB and CB iron reviews on my channel, so you can obviously go and check that out. I've just recently done a comparison video of the T100 and AP2, so again, you can go and check that video out for more comparisons. Thanks very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, smash that subscribe button, very much appreciate it. Follow up on social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. The handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.